feeling like I'm academics.
Things to get into, and I think the Diddy saga is happening. There's a lot going to be unraveled. So first and foremost, let me start with the most important thing that you guys got to know, because we have to know why a lot of these things are happening. By the way, here's the thing about the Me Too movement kind of came and went about like 2 years ago, and the Me Too movement, if you ask me, was a very important movement because we didn't really know how much some of these niggas was on creep shit, right? Like these guys who were essentially gatekeepers. Remember, you couldn't really get a record contract without going through some of these guys. They used to use their power and influence and their money to do really creepy and perverted shit. You get what I mean? Especially, to the point where it's like, hey, a woman or a female wants to get on, whether it's rapping or singing, they're fucking pulling out their cocks like, you better suck this dick if you want this record contract or you want this fucking budget or advance. You know what I mean? Which, by the way, very disgusting, right? That not only happened in music, that clearly happened in film. Hey, you want this role? And by the way, some of our favorite actresses literally had to get down on their knees. I'm not making fun of this, by the way. I'm just telling you the reality of it, and fucking suck off these old, senile, wrinkly motherfuckers because they were the people who owned or had the power and control in Hollywood to make sure these people either could get in these movies and really be able to provide for their families. So the Me Too movement, if you ask me, was necessary at the time. Now, I'm going to tell you what happened from the Me Too movement. Of course, it rooted out the biggest perverts, right? And obviously, sometimes it kind of probably put certain people in a, interesting place because, we're going to talk straight on this, stream. For example, never defending anybody on no weird shit, but also we have to realize if we're talking about people's behaviors in the 80s and 90s, it's very different from now. You get what I mean? They had a different type of drug culture, type of hookup culture, and a lot of the stuff now that was probably just status quo back then, we will look at it now and call it predatory behavior, right? Or, that's why they come up with this word or this phrase, rape culture. You get what I mean? So a lot of those behaviors, like over time, has just not aged well. Like, if you ever watched BET Uncut, man, put it like this. Could you imagine a goddamn music video right now that's not on OnlyFans where niggas is sliding credit cards down bitches' ass crack and doing all that type of shit? That chick would be suing, man. Like, what the fuck? Like, come on. That's like sexual assault right there. But of course, back in the day, like, they got all type of shit going on. By the way, there was about to produce a documentary on Freaknik. If you guys don't know Freaknik, you know what I mean? If your mama or your daddy ever been a Freaknik, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. They might have AIDS, okay? That's the reality of it, okay? But it was pretty much an annual spring break festival in Atlanta. It began in 1983, and I think it continued for a while. I don't know when it stopped, but pretty much that's where all of your parents and so forth probably went down there, got smutted out, trains, orgies, you know what I mean? They was going out there having their little fuck fest. Now, the important part of acknowledging that is that, that was their wild period, which was probably unpoliced. It was probably, people be talking about objectification or like, misogyny now, where it's like, men talk about or treat women a certain type of way. Like, Freaknik? Like, these bitches was on their knees, you know what I mean? Getting dick down. It's the reality of the thing. Back then, and the majority of the women, they were cool with it. Like, that was the culture. And that's sometimes is lost in this whole thing. That was the culture. You get what I mean? Like, put it like this, you know what I mean? Like, if you go overseas to motherfucking, like, India or some shit, and let me not say India, because we might have some, Indian chat niggas in here, but, like, you go to the, like, Middle East, or you go to, like, motherfucking, you know what I mean, some of these Asian countries or continent, or even Europe, they might be eating a fucking caterpillar. They might be eating a motherfucking roach. Like, based on where you are used to, you might look at them like, you niggas is nasty. Their cultures and traditions is like, this shit is prime food, nigga. This shit is bussin'. I only say that to say, when we judge things out of context and out of tradition and out of the time period where it's accepted, of course you're always going to turn up an eye to it. If your mama and auntie was at Freaknik, they was getting their back blown out by all types of niggas. That's what they liked. Get what I mean? Now, they try to like almost reimagine it for Hulu, be like, oh no, it was just niggas in a really disgusting part of history. No. From what I've heard and I've seen testimony, and again, not from everybody, but for the majority of women who used to be a part of that shit, man, they love that shit. So whatever the fuck they were getting into, they loved it. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to say all. I'm going to say I've seen a large majority of the ones that I've heard talk about it. Anyway, that's a slight tangent. I'm Mr. Tangent Man, but I say that to say some of that behavior and some of that hookup culture is why a lot of these executives are getting in trouble now. Now, obviously, I'm not here co-signing, agreeing with, or even saying that it was cool for executives to misuse their power or influence or try to pressure people into having sex or even doing really creepy or rapey shit. Not what I'm trying to say, but I'm trying to say that some of those behaviors didn't seem odd at the time, but now it's definitely is. So, okay, let me advance it. So what pretty much happened is that, the Me Too movement happened, and a lot of them got rooted out. Russell Simmons is still in motherfucking Bali, like, you know what I mean, sitting down Indian style, meditating, hoping that his time don't come back again, because, they pretty much uprooted him as one of the like sexual deviants and predators, and he pretty much dipped. You know what I mean? I think he even dated a woman that became his wife, Kimora Levy Simmons, when she was like fucking underage. So this thing, he's on some shit. You get what I mean? So anyway, okay, and tell me if my timeline is right. So after pretty much the Me Too movement comes out, it gives a voice to a lot of people that were voiceless, and now we're rooting out a lot of the predators and some of the really disgusting people in the society. Okay, now obviously there's some casualties. Some people's names get brought up. There's no real proof, and it kind of becomes a witch hunt a little bit. But what happens next, if you ask me, is that feminism took over. Okay, from Me Too turns to the woke movement. Now everything's a fucking problem. Okay, you know what I mean? Everything is, oh, okay. Yo, if you even make an innocuous comment, well, I would think an innocuous comment towards a woman or whatever, or you sexualize her, that's the problem with men, is rape culture. It turned to women versus men. Everybody's woke. Everybody want to be on a soapbox. Everybody act like they're on the up and up. Everybody actually lacks the context of just reality. Yo, there's a lot of gray area in life, and not everybody's like just perfect. You get what I mean? So the Me Too movement kind of dips out. The woke culture and everything else gets this new cancellation culture, and the cancellation culture really comes from, the woke culture and everything else is underneath that, comes from people who were powerless finally given power. It's the same thing with feminists, right? Feminists at first, they were like, yo, it's unequal. Like, yo, we don't got the same rights as men. You start giving them the rights and you give them equal rights to men, then they say, nah, we want more rights than men. Fuck that shit. You get what I mean? So it's never really about, it always goes too far. I guess that's what I'm saying. So the cancel culture went from, hey, you can now hold these people accountable, to, fuck it, we could really fuck these niggas up. You get what I mean? So now it became a witch hunt for like any and everybody. That happened for a while, and then I think it kind of died down in the last, I want to say 2 years. Cancel culture, it still exists, but you got to fuck up to really get cancel culture, okay? Cancel culture could have been you saying something back then, or like some old tweets back then, right? These days, you really got to be like, a fucking criminal, right? That's where you get canceled. Otherwise, not really as much. Okay, so why am I explaining this? Because this is a probably new renaissance, a probably second wind, where I think the same cycle might start out. So in New York, last year, I believe November 22nd, if I'm not wrong, there was a, what's the name of the law? It's called the New York Adult Survivors Act. So last year, and I'm giving y'all a little education before we get into the bullshit. Okay? We're going to get to the bullshit, but if you don't understand what the fuck we talking about, you're going to be like, yo, what's going on? So this is the governor of New York? I don't even know who the governor of New York is. Oh, my God. Governor Kathy whatever signed a Adult Survivors Act, okay, creating a 1-year look-back window for survivors of sexual assault that occurred when they were over the age of 18 to sue their abusers, regardless of when the abuse happened. By the way, here's the thing. There is statutes of limitation. By the way, this is all for civil suits. Now, there's statute of limitations for a lot of different type of things. If you were ever molested as a child, there is no statute of limitations. So you could be 55, and if you wanted to sue the nigga who used to touch you or the woman who used to molest you, you can. But if you were an adult, there used to be, I think, and I could be wrong about this, but there used to be, I think, a 20-year window. Okay, there used to be like a 20-year window, or it could have been 15, but my memory's kind of fucking me up. I don't want to get into too much of the nuances. I tried to do the research today, but essentially, that would pretty much, what's 20 years from now, or 20 years ago, right? 20 years ago is like pretty much 2003. So all the shit that happened in the 90s and again, I think I might be wrong on the 20 years part, but regardless, somebody say it was 10 years. It probably was 10 years. Thank you. It probably was 10 years because, 20 years, Cassie's thing would have still been good for a couple more years. And a lot of these other guys, they're getting accused of shit in the early 2000s. So I do think it's 10 years. Okay, cool. So, man, anyway, the people whose statute of limitations expired so they couldn't sue their quote-unquote oppressors or the people who victimized them or sexually abused them, assault them, they got a 1-year window to file new lawsuits to basically get the justice they never got. Okay, this was signed. It was signed in November. I know. I think it was November 22nd, or something like that. Anyway, okay, let me just go to another. Just a press release. Here we go. Okay, cool. The lawsuit that launched, oh my God, the lawsuit that launched 2,500 sex abuse case and failed celebrities is expiring. Okay, so the groundbreaking Adult Survivors Act is expired. It's expiring on Friday, people. Okay, that's what I know. So Friday, if you got, essayed, I don't like to say the word, but who cares about saying it? If you got sexually assaulted, if you got, any creep behavior happen when you were an adult with a guy, or even if you're a guy with a woman, you have until Friday to file a lawsuit if it happened in New York State. This is only a New York State thing. So again, I know people are going to think that the whole culture is under attack, but not really. Here's the problem, though. This is why we're seeing a lot of musicians get caught up in this. It's only now where the music industry is a little bit decentralized. Like, for example, QC is based in Atlanta, right? Before, every record label used to be based in New York. So pretty much your entire, you're going to have, like, first of all, the Major League Baseball headquarters is in New York, right? All record labels are in New York. There's a shit ton of, like, really important big businesses, all headquarters in New York, a lot of important people in New York, and essentially the reason why you're seeing so many people in the music business get caught up because they all were officed in New York. Again, this is only a New York thing, okay? Yeah. So, okay, cool. Let me just keep reading. It took effect on last year's Thanksgiving after the legislator authorized the look-back period, blah, blah, blah. Advocates predicted at the time that a temporary measure would turn the trickle lawsuits into state civil courts into a flood, and so it proved. With the act sunsets this Thursday, more than 2,500 actions will be filed under legislation. Okay, cool. Now that you understand that, it's the last chance for anybody who got touched, who got forcefully fucked, or anything of the sort over 10 years ago to file a lawsuit. They got to file it by this Thursday or it's a wrap. Okay? Now, unless the police, by the way, there is zero statute of limitations on criminal charges for sexual assault. And I think that's almost everywhere. But usually, if police haven't filed, hasn't pursued a case by now, they're not going back 10 years trying to do it, unless you're Bill Cosby and mad more information is coming out, right? So people only have the option of a civil suit, and it's expiring on Friday. So Diddy is one of those things. Cassie is pretty much, at least for the other victims, the success story. She didn't have to go to court. She didn't have to sit through a deposition. She didn't have to get cross-examined. And also, you got to imagine, no matter what we say about Cassie, it would be embarrassing. She got the bag and she dipped. So everybody else is filing to get the bag, but it doesn't mean they're lying or it doesn't mean they're telling the truth. I think with Cassie, it's a little bit different. People look at Cassie to say, you're saying your name, right? Because most of these other people, they're going to be called Jane Doe, which means they're doing it anonymously. And we know she would know where the skeletons are buried with Diddy. Okay. I think I've given you guys enough kind of backstory to this whole thing. So let me show you a few that have popped up. Okay. So today alone, right? And by the way, you're going to see some more Thursday and maybe some late ones still filed on Friday. So today, Yo, by the way, D Wade, you are tweaking the fuck out, nigga. We gonna talk about you later, nigga. This whole time, nigga. Never mind. Let me not crack a joke right now. I got a good one though. Anyway, Jamie Foxx got hit. So Jamie Foxx was sued for sexual assault. The story says he's been accused of a rooftop sexual assault that allegedly happened 8 years ago in New York City. According to the lawsuit, he was at Catch NYC, and around 11 p.m. when the plaintiff arrived to be seated at the rooftop lounge and bar, she noticed Jamie one table away having drinks with Eric Bishop. Around 1, the plaintiff friend asked Jamie if he'd take a photo with her and the plaintiff, and he said, sure, baby, anything for you. He seemed intoxicated at the time. She claims he took more photos and commented, whoa, you have that supermodel body, you smell good, and told her she looks like Gabrielle Union. Jane Doe, which obviously, as I said, anonymous, claims Jamie pulled her by the arm to the back room of the back area of the rooftop where he allegedly placed both hands on her waist, moved them to blah, blah. She claims this was, okay, whatever. All right, bet. Yeah, he slid his hand into the pants. He put his fingers on and in her vagina and anus. Damn. Nigga already had 2 in the pink and 1 in the stink. Yo, Jamie, you a wild boy, my nigga. She says her friend came over and saw what was happening, and Jamie stopped touching her. She claims she was injured and had to undergo medical treatment, suffer pain, suffering, blah, blah, blah. Okay. She's suing Foxx, the place it happened, and the employees for compensatory and punitive damages. Okay. I do have the lawsuit here, so we're gonna kind of go over this. And by the way, after we go over this, we're gonna get back a little bit more into the Diddy stuff, because what I told y'all is happening is actually happening. You're seeing we're gonna see other people get in trouble, and it's gonna make us forget about the one we kind of care about. Not that we don't care about these other cases, but Cassie's putting her name to it. She made really specific and detailed, you know what I mean, numerous events. With most of these, is like, he met this girl one night. Apparently he's drunk. Like, this is probably like within an hour. You know what I mean? Okay. Give me 1 second. All right. So, I do have the lawsuit here in full. And I'm not going to sit here and read it like how we did Diddy's lawsuit. But what we could probably take from this, give me a second. Is it being so? All right, we got it. Perfect. I didn't. Sorry, Chad. By the way, I'm not too sure if the person who sent this to me wants to be shouted out, but I got this actually from a New York City lawyer. So, salute to them. They told me, they're like, yo, we chat niggas too, man. I got to get you this document because I want to hear you talk about it on the stream, so I appreciate you. Okay, here we go. If this shit don't... Give me 1 second. Sorry. Yes. All right, cool. So here's a lawsuit. It's Jane Doe versus Eric Bishop. Oh, wait, actually, Eric Bishop is Jamie Foxx. What is that Jamie Foxx's real name? No fucking way. Jamie Foxx's real name. Oh, it is Eric Bishop. Okay. All right, cool. So it's Jane Doe versus Eric Bishop, Catch, New York rooftop. I guess there's a whole group. A couple other people, some hospitality people, and they've sued the building and a whole bunch of other things, okay? All right. Now, I'm going to just try to get to the information that's directly written in the lawsuit. Here we go. Foxx. Okay. Here we go. Okay. On or about, so this happened in 2015, which, by the way, ironically, if there's a 10-year window for if there's a 10-year window for statute of limitations, I think we have to acknowledge that what Cassie did that a lot of other people are going to feel emboldened by. Remember, Cassie got the win. So if you just saw Cassie drop the bombshell, put so much pressure on Puff that she got paid within 24 hours, even if you could have filed this lawsuit, and clearly if it says 2015, and let's imagine that like the statute of limitations for the civil suit is 10 years, she had 2 more years, but now is the best time to file the lawsuit because you get to put fire to the ass. Yo, what you gonna do? Diddy just paid up. You ain't gonna pay up? Hey, I don't want no 30 million. You give me 3, I'm straight. Jamie, you give me 3, I'm straight. I'm out of here. You feel me? So anyway, on or about August 26, 2015, approximately 11 p.m., the plaintiff and a friend arrived at 21 9th. Okay, they arrived to catch, okay? They got seats at the rooftop bar and lounge. Upon seated, they noticed that the defendant, and this is not Jamie Foxx, was seated one table away having drinks with Jamie Foxx. Not long after being seated, the plaintiff and her friend observe a large crowd gathering around Foxx's table. As a result, Jane Doe began moving the crowd of patrons away. Okay, I guess I mean like other people working there. Jane Doe is unknown and unnamed people. Okay, including nearly all the patrons seated near the table by Foxx. Despite them being the only 2 remaining in the area, plaintiff and her friend were never asked to move from their table located beside Foxx. At some point, approximately 1 a.m., all right, on August 27th, 2015, after many patrons had left the area, the plaintiff friend stood up from the table, walked over to defendant Foxx, and asked if he would take a picture with her and plaintiff. Foxx said, "Sure, baby, anything for you," and walked over to the plaintiff's table. Several photos were taken. While taking the photographs, plaintiff observed that Foxx seemed intoxicated. By the way, this is also a little bit complicating factor of all these situations. When alcohol is introduced, saying people were intoxicated, number one, it's going to work in very different ways, especially when it comes to a lawsuit, because it's going to severely limit the believability of somebody's side if you were intoxicated. You know, sometimes your memory isn't the best, or maybe you're not in the proper state of mind, or you could have been blacked out. Now, again, remember, this isn't like a criminal case. You know, I don't know if you ever heard it, like, which I think ignorantly, you know, I'll state this, but I don't think this is true. They're like, if 2 drunk people have sex with each other, like, they almost basically look at it like, well, shit, if y'all both were out of your mind, it's kind of hard to deem who's the person at fault if somebody claims somebody took advantage of them. Yeah, we're both drunk, right? But in this situation, I don't think it matters because this is a civil suit, so it don't matter if Foxx is drunk or not. You know what I mean? He still could be liable for what he did if he did anything, right? Okay, Foxx made several comments to the plaintiff, include, "Whoa, you got that supermodel body. You smell so good. Yo, you look like Nikki." When plaintiff asked who was Nikki, Foxx said Gabrielle Union. Oh, shit. Proceeded to grab her by the arm and pull her to the back area of the rooftop. Once in a more secluded area, he placed both hands on her waist, moved them under her crop top, and began rubbing her breasts. She was caught off guard and attempted to step away from Foxx. Plaintiff noticed that defendant John Doe, a security guard, one of the defendants some distance away, who saw that was happening, but walked further away. So basically, they're saying that either Jamie Foxx's security saw that he was trying to fuck, and he just like left. Foxx proceeds to slide his hands into the plaintiff's pants and put his fingers on and in the plaintiff's vagina and anus. As this was happening, the plaintiff's friend walked over looking for the plaintiff. Foxx stopped touching the plaintiff and walked over to where defendant John Doe, a security guard, was standing. That no negligence or intentional acts. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, all right. So this pretty much kind of described it. So that's pretty much what happened. Let me see what happened afterwards. Okay. She did say she went to the police. Okay. All right. So they're giving reasons why they're suing everybody because they're saying all these people was negligible, this and third. I'm pretty sure if I search, I'll be able to see the hospital visit this and third. And I'm gonna be honest with you. To keep it real, uh, this is one of the reasons I'm gonna say he's not gonna settle this, right? Like, Cassie had a whole bunch of shit that could have came out in Discovery and made Diddy look crazy. Maybe some stuff about his sexuality, maybe some other stuff in terms of proof of like beatings, or maybe some freak off shit that could have really ruined his brand. Maybe some testimonies or phone calls that were recorded or anything else that could make Diddy look crazy and really just sink him. So Diddy had to pay it off. This thing, Jamie Foxx met a girl for a night. It's probably happened in 15 minutes. He's lit. He thinks, at that level of celebrity, you're probably thinking every girl is feeling you. Not saying it's right, but like, it's Jamie Foxx, He goes to sit down, everybody's surrounding this table. He think everybody's on his dick. Okay, cool. He kind of picks this girl, because she wants a picture. A nigga like Jamie, not even a nigga like Jamie Foxx, a lot of celebrities, mind, a girl comes up for a picture, you're thinking she wants to fuck. You're not even thinking, like, it is not, it's not right, but it's kind of how a lot of people think. If a nigga asks you for a picture, be like, oh, he fucks with me, respects me. A woman asks you for a picture, be like, oh, I could definitely fuck her. You know what I mean? Because you're almost imagining her being starstruck already, right? Cool. So he goes to take a picture with this chick, and he then pulls her to the side and allegedly grabs her titties on her crop top and then fingers her for a little bit. She supposedly went to the hospital, which is probably buried in here somewhere. Let's see, hospital. Okay. It's going to keep saying hospitality. All right, whatever. Okay. Yeah. So that's the lawsuit. If you ask me, number one, not only is there a settlement not going to happen, right? Obviously Jamie's probably gonna have to play some PR games because this could ruin his, he's had, by the way, he's known for wild ass parties just like Diddy. But, he's a movie star. Maybe this could fuck up certain things. He might have to play a little PR to try to make sure his name is not fucking sunk by this. But I don't think it would be. Here's the thing. This is a he said, she said situation. I'm guessing the she said is gonna be the woman who says she got fingered and possibly her friend, but she even admits in the lawsuit her friend never saw Jamie fingering her. He says when the friend was coming over, Jamie stopped. They can't call on Jamie's security. She even says when Jamie was starting to do stuff, the security walked away. I'm pretty sure, number one, you're suing Catch, right? You're suing the rooftop bar restaurant place that it happened in. They're not going to give you fucking surveillance footage to first of all, this is 10 years ago or 8 years ago. They're not going to give you surveillance footage to get them fucked up in court. So they're not going to be any help. So it's really her word versus Jamie Foxx and everybody else there. I think this is a very winnable case. And whether he did it or not, it's not for me to judge because I'm not there. But this is the reason why you're not cutting this chick no $3 million check or no millions at all. You fight it out, you beat the case, or it's going to get dropped, or if maybe at max, hey, you pay some punitive damage or some compensatory damage for just some negligence, but they'll dismiss the claims that, it could be proven that you sexually, did some shit with her, right? Because, even if she went to the police, it's not like, because you do like a rape kit on like somebody being fingered. And then even if you did do it, I guess you have to match it to the DNA. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, the point what I'm trying to say is that this is completely different from Diddy, and I think he's gonna fight this. I don't think you're gonna see none of this shit get resolved in a day. Okay? So yeah, Listen, not saying this woman is lying, but any chick who done got fingered, piped out in the bathroom, sucked some dick like in an alleyway of a celebrity in New York City in the last 10, 15 years, they're probably gonna like rethink that incident and be like, that nigga never did hit me up again. He never did take me on tour like he told me. He never did send me that cash app like he said he was. He never did. Fuck it, I'm suing that nigga, right? So we might see some, fraudulent. I'm not saying this is what that is, but Hey, to me, this is weak. Okay. Now, a few other people that got caught up in it. Okay, so that's the Jamie Foxx situation. If you guys don't know, by the way, I think did Jamie Foxx. Let me see if he commented on this. Let me see. Did he comment on this? I don't know if he did. Okay. Anyway, the other person that got caught up was and I'm gonna keep it musical because there's a lot of other people that got caught up, and people are now saying where their smoke is fire. So, former Bad Boy president and label hit, yeah, former Bad Boy president, Bad Boy the label president. His name is Harv Pierre. He got hit with sexual assault, negligence, and whatever. And this is after the lawsuit got settled by Diddy with Cassie. So let's read about him. Harv Pierre. Okay. Let's read about him. By the way, if you don't know this nigga, you could probably catch him. You ever watch Making the Band? He was always on there. He might have been on that Cheesecake episode. I ain't gonna lie to you. Niggas said they knew that nigga Diddy was on some devious shit. When they seen this nigga Diddy told people to go walk to Philly for a cheesecake. Not to Philly, to Brooklyn for a cheesecake. They knew this nigga Diddy was down to do anything, man. Okay, this is the guy right here. This is the guy. So, the guy who's being sued, he right here. I believe. Bald head, yeah. I think this is him right here. This is him right here. By the way, why did like I think this was aired on like VH1 or like MTV. Why they never replayed these at all? Like this was the funniest reality show if you ask me, man. Shout out to my boy Chopper, man, and Bad Bunny and everything. Okay, cool. So that's the dude there. He's known for being around Diddy, and here we go into what the fuck supposedly happened. Okay, it says on the heels of the high-profile sexual assault allegations against Diddy, an assistant has filed a lawsuit against the former president of Combs Bad Boy Entertainment, alleging sexual harassment and sexual assault. Harv Pierre allegedly used his position of authority as plaintiff's boss to groom, exploit, and sexually assault the assistant, according to the complaint, which was obtained by Rolling Stone. The assistant, who has chosen to remain anonymous, alleges she was sexually assaulted multiple times by Pierre between 2016 and 2017 in New York City and other locations. By the way, again, let's look at the time. Let me see. I just want to... statute of limitations, New York City. Yeah, it keeps saying 20 years, though. It keeps saying 20 years, unless I'm wrong. It says 20 years, but maybe it's because not all these cases are sexual assault. So sexual assault, civil cases are 20 years. But like sexual harassment, I don't know what that is. Like the time period on that. And I'm guessing they want to put all these things in it, right? To even if, okay, they can't prove the sexual assault, they could probably prove the sexual harassment. So maybe that's why, everybody's filing now. But this should happen less than 10 years ago, right? Between 2016 and 2017 in New York City and other locations throughout the country. And she suffered physical, emotional, and psychological injuries. Obviously, he didn't respond to comment. But apparently, they've known each other since they were students at Howard University. Okay? Now, let me see. In addition to Pierre, the Jane Doe lawsuits accused Bad Boy Entertainment, Bad Boy Records, and Combs Enterprises of negligence and gender violence. It claims the companies failed to properly supervise Pierre, especially considering his access to individuals like plaintiff. Okay. So yeah, we're seeing some of the dominoes kind of fall, and I'm going to be honest with you. I think this is going to be, again, this isn't necessarily coming out because of Diddy. It's coming out because the Friday deadline, right? But we're now seeing more things being connected to Diddy, and that is what people are sinking their teeth into now. Oh, okay, so Diddy, you were on some weird shit. Oh, okay. The president of your record label was also into some weird shit. You get what I mean? Now, people are looking at everybody around Diddy, and they're also looking at people who may be enablers. Cassie's not going to tell the story. She's not going to give more details. She's not going to give no proof. She got paid. So people are looking at people around him to see if maybe that behavior is pervasive, or that particular, if they have people around him that could kind of attest to some of the shit that Cassie was alluding to that she never got into, obviously, because she got paid. So he got sued. And by the way, I don't think he's going to be settling either. He don't got Diddy money. But it does make Diddy look away. Ironically, today, in Salute to Art of Dialogue, they interviewed Diddy's security. Great timing. And he spoke about Diddy. And, I don't know if he was there around the whole time with Diddy and Cassie, but he was definitely there with Kim Porter. But he has some very interesting things to say, okay? Watch this.
Gene Deal, happy to have you back on the platform, my man. Yo, Art, I was getting so many hits and so many calls talking about, Art about to call you, man. You know Art is about to get this Cassidy thing going on his show. Just be prepared for it. I was like, yeah. 9 times out of 10, he'll call me, and we here. I can't go nowhere. I'm in St. Louis, man.
Let's skip a little
and you saying, just with this Cassie thing, I didn't know her, but I knew somebody like her, and that was Kim Porter. I didn't know Cassie, but I knew somebody who was going through the same thing she was going through, and that was Kim Porter. So people ask me, and they send me clips of Cassie, I guess it's an affidavit to the courts, of what she experienced. And it's like, it was the same thing Kim was going through. The same thing, bro. Kim was going through the same thing. The beatings, you know what I'm saying? Like I said before, and now I could say one time when I know Kim had defended herself, and I told people this, and now everybody, after Cassie report comes out, everybody want to show the picture now. You see a picture on the internet going with Puff, right hand is in a bandage. That's the night I was called by Paul to meet him over at St. Luke's Hospital. He had a white t-shirt wrapped around his wrist, because Kim had took the cork, where you open up wine, the corkscrew. She took the corkscrew and caught him on his wrist defending himself, and he almost, I know he tore some ligament, but he almost hit an artery or came close to the artery, or either scratched it or cut it a little bit, because he just kept bleeding. And from that point on, he was hooked. That's when I knew when they was talking about people getting addicted and hooked on pain medicines, that's what happened to him. And it was from his right wrist that he's reminded by Kim.
Interesting. Clearly, a lot of people in the industry are, hooked on some type of drug or opiate or some shit like that. And look like Diddy, I won't say has a drug problem, but definitely uses. I never thought that. I've never seen Diddy look drugged out. Have y'all? Diddy always looks really awoke and attentive. I've also I used to look up to Diddy in the sense of Diddy used to do this thing where he's like, no sleep. And I was like, damn, this motherfucker wants to win and wants to work so hard, he could just not sleep. So I always thought that he was just really driven off adrenaline and the will to win, And I've never seen like you see NBA YoungBoy, like that nigga's like yo like yo the nigga look like he's barely awake, like he's barely within this world. That's what I be thinking when I'm thinking of a druggie. Like a druggie don't seem too awake, but Diddy's always energetic. He always looks very in it. Obviously he's drunk at times. I know, but drunk is different than like whatever like I don't know, maybe prescription shit you could get that has you kind of. Yeah, like a nigga on Xanax don't look like a nigga just like mad energetic, right? Am I wrong? Anyway, it's interesting to hear Gene Deal says, and this is his bodyguard at the time, he says he believes that Diddy's addiction to certain medication or certain drugs came from him being injured by by Kim Porter, and once they prescribed the medication, he probably kept taking it afterwards, right? That happens a lot.
All the time now.
And looking at this lawsuit, right? And like you said, she did accuse him of abuse in this lawsuit.
Oh, I see a couple people say, yo, Ak. Nah, man, that's cocaine for you, man. Cocaine and Molly, nigga. Or maybe, it's Molly's ecstasy, right? Yeah.
But she also accused him of sex trafficking in this lawsuit. How you feel about that?
Well, he get the sex trafficking because he took her to different states and had her perform sex acts with different, male prostitutes and different people, sometimes against her will. We look at this and we say, well, that was his girl and she did it on her own. She didn't have to. Man, you can't say that. That was a 19-year-old girl that what they call now groomed by an older man. And yes, she got some of the benefits of being with a billionaire.
Do you think that Diddy groomed Cassie? Well, again, this might be a rhetorical question because let me first define what I think grooming is. I thought grooming was like had to do with like underage. Like, okay, you're basically grooming someone to be with you whenever they could be with you legally. Kind of like almost in a way where people like, hey, if you're with Kylie Jenner and she's 16 and 17 and you're basically kind of grooming her to become your girlfriend when she becomes 18, right? That's what I was thinking grooming is, but maybe this is grooming too, right? Is this grooming? Yeah, some people say, nah, he took advantage, not groomed. I think I would be inclined to say that.
Millionaire and everything like that. But it's just certain things that he did to groom her and put her into that position that she wanted the career. She wanted to do the music. She wanted to be a performer and all this stuff like that. He held all that shit over her head, bro. And now that she came out and telling everybody her story and what happened to her, people are finding fault in her. People are saying that she ain't right for putting a lawsuit against him, but she earned every bit of that, bruh. And like I said, I only seen bits and pieces of it, but she earned every bit of that. Yo, I heard that.
Yo, again, if we're to believe that Diddy is in the, pay people to shut the fuck up, yo, Diddy, you gotta throw this nigga $10,000 for him to shut up, nigga. Cause this nigga been waiting for you to go to jail for the longest, and he your bodyguard, cause he's seen a lot. He gonna have that reputation and credibility. We're always gonna listen to him. The bodyguard and the driver, man, they always know the most. Bodyguard, driver, and housekeeper and nanny, whatever. Those gonna be the people that know everything. This nigga look like he waiting for a Keefe D check or something like that, cause I ain't never hear him say nothing positive about Diddy. Like, yeah, nah, Diddy's a good guy. Never.
He beat her so bad he sent her to Hawaii so she could stay away from people. That's crazy, man. But that's Kim's story. That's Kim's book. That's Kim's book. Then you hear about the fact that he broke Kim's nose on a yacht?
Wow, I ain't hear about that.
He broke Kim, let's say allegedly, but it was told by people in her camp that he broke Kim's nose on a yacht.
Somebody said, if Diddy's getting everybody killed, how is this nigga alive? Simple answer, nigga. I don't think he own a car. He probably got a bus pass or something like that. You know what I mean? You ride the Greyhound. You know what I mean? Hard to catch a nigga lacking when you can't put a car bomb under his car. He don't got none. You feel me? That's the only reason I could think.
So Cassie's story is Kim's story. Cassie's book is Kim's book. Bro, when y'all look at this thing and saying force, y'all think that he probably threatened to beat her, threatened to do something like that. That ain't what force is. It could come from the mentality. Yo, he put her.
I'm joking, people. I'm joking.
In a certain position, in a certain situation, in a certain time in her life. You understand what I'm saying? That she saw no way out other than doing what he told her to do. He had mentally controlled her. It's like a pimp. Diddy had pimp potential. He had her mind messed up where it controlled her. She felt no way out. She felt like if she walked out the door, he wasn't going to do the music no more. If she went...
Ironically, I was thinking about that too. And as, I think we were trying to lightly, tiptoe towards exploring the possibility that, hey, maybe she was freaky too. Maybe she wanted some of those things. Not saying that everything, obviously he probably did some shit, obviously, number one, and beating her ass. She's not like, hey, beat me up, nigga, right? But some of these sexual escapades with other men, maybe she was into that. And I was thinking about that, then I caught myself, and I realized, I was like, by the time she broke up with Diddy, and I don't remember what year that was, did she ever have any even marginal success in the music business? Maybe she really knew in the bottom of her heart that if she didn't do what Diddy wanted her to do, or if she left Diddy, and maybe that's why she stayed with him for that long of a time, her music career was done. You know what I mean? Yo, if we're hearing what we believe is Diddy's personality, he would probably tell everybody, if y'all work with her after we're done, I ain't fucking with you.
Went somewhere or she ran and didn't want to do that, their relationship not only would have been over, he would have painted a picture that nobody else in the industry would have dealt with her. I seen him do it before. I seen him even tell people on the phone before, yo.
This was crazy.
Like he did Wendy Williams. He said it when we was in Cali. When I come back to New York and that BITCH is on the radio. This is Wendy Williams, the hottest radio host in New York City. When she put out those pictures of the dude pulling his pants down and it looked like some gay act that was going on, he got on the phone. He said, let me tell you this. When I get back to New York City, if she's on the radio station, he's talking to a radio executive. He said the same thing to he said, nobody that I deal with, nobody that I know is going to do anything with y'all. No business at all. It ain't going to be no artist, no nothing gonna come. He's telling people that at a radio station. When we got back to New York City, Wendy Williams was in Philly.
Damn.
At a new station.
Damn.
Wow.
That's the power he had.
See why people scared of this nigga?
That's the music industry, bro. That's the music industry. Now you're going to have guys coming out against Cassie talking about she shouldn't have done that. She should hurry up and did that. Man, you can't say that about a victim. This is what kills me about these guys. These guys get these platforms and they want to talk about, guys like me in the background who saw everything, and I didn't see that because I wouldn't have played that. And people could say what they want to say. Yo, Diddy would have did this. Diddy would have did that. Nah, he wouldn't have done that. You know what I'm saying? Because I think I told you this before. When he cursed his mother, I said to him, man, if you cuss your mother again, I'm going to beat the shit out you. He said, well, no, Gene, she always in my business. I said, if it wasn't for her, you wouldn't have no business. I'm saying that to say this to the women out there. If a man disrespect his mother, you just like an ice cube. You ain't got a chance in hell. Do you understand? That man disrespected his mother. What do we care about these chicks out here, these women out here like that? Now, I ain't gonna say that he couldn't change. Maybe he have. He's brother, a doctor, or something love now. But back then, way before Kim, beat the shit out of Misa because she thought she was dealing with Eric Sermon, the green-eyed dude. He's known for shit like that, bro. But it's a pattern. And they caught up with him.
Interesting. Now, there's a bunch of stuff actually, kind of happening. And, I don't know if you've seen me post this, but I think the major one is this is music to the ears of the parent company, Diageo. And that's the parent company who did the deal with Diddy for Ciroc. Obviously, Diddy sued them for Ciroc. And also, they own DeLeon. Diddy owns part of DeLeon, and I don't know if that business has completely been wrapped up, but they both own DeLeon, Diageo and Diddy. With Ciroc, it was just a investment, like an endorsement, and I think he got proceeds off of each flavor he brought to market. Now, clearly, since Diddy's suing them claiming racism, they couldn't wait for this shit to come out. They're trying to get Diddy the fuck out of the whole situation. And now they're saying that Diddy's rape claims is the reason why they're going to keep him out of tequila ads. They're going to keep him out of tequila ads and also promotion efforts for DeLeon. So Diddy is not going to be pretty much the face, at least in the foreseeable future, for the company's push of DeLeon. Okay? I'll read a little bit here. In a letter filed with a New York court Friday, the London-based spirit maker Diageo cited the accusation to bolster its months-long effort to prevent Combs from serving as the face of DeLeon Tequila, which he runs in a joint venture with it for a decade. The letter comes after a series of lawsuits from Combs filed against Diageo, whose other brands include Johnny Walker, Don Julio, and Smirnoff. In May, he accused the company of pigeonholing DeLeon and Ciroc, the vodka he fronted for 15 years, as black brands for urban consumers, allegedly violating an equal treatment provision in their contract. In a subsequent October complaint, Combs says Diageo had blackballed him from the spirit industry over his racial discrimination claims, which have put on ice till next spring. He alleged in the last month's retaliation suit that the company was sending him the message, "Speak up and you will be punished." They ended the Ciroc partnership over the summer, saying that at the time, Combs had breached the contract, but the parties are still feuding over the use of up to $15 million in advertising and promotional budget, including for DeLeon marketing next year. So essentially, DeLeon is saying, brother love, we don't want you to be the face of the brand anymore. And by the way, it goes way beyond them caring about his case or the now settled case with him and Cassie, is particularly about the fact that Diddy called them racist, and they want to get Diddy forcefully out the building. So they already severed ties with Ciroc. A judge will rule if they need to pay him anything, but they claim they've done enough, and he breached the contract, so they could end it. Now, the argument is this De Leon thing, and basically because Diddy has the control of where he could spend the budget, they don't want him spending the budget with anything to do with him because they're feeling that they don't want him to be the face of this tequila. And I don't think it's only because of the rape stuff, as I said. It's because Diddy's suing them about Ciroc. So they're basically trying to stick it to him, and this is helping them basically stick it to Diddy. Now, that's not the only thing happening with Diddy. Okay, his clothing brand has been phased out of Macy's after a 2-decade partnership. It was kind of unclear, and I read all the articles that were around this. None of them specifically say that the decision to phase out Diddy's clothing brand, and by the way, Sean John, if you don't know also Sean John, Diddy had sold Sean John and bought it back. Like, he bought it back for like $7 million, and I think he had sold it for like over $100 million, right? Sean John Puff Daddy sells. Let's see if we can find it. Okay, yeah, he bought it back for he bought it back for 7 point. Sorry. Pause on this say. Yeah. He bought it back for $7.5 million, and he had sold it for, let me see if I can find it. When did he sell it? He had sold it for, why does this tell me how much he sold it for? Which I just think it's a win. How much did he sell it Sean John for? Here we go. Oh my God, I gotta keep disabling my ad blocker. Okay. Okay, he sold it for $70 million and bought it back for $7 million, which, by the way, is a great business deal. Essentially, the company that bought it couldn't move product anymore. They realized when you buy a company that's named after an individual, it's like me selling the Academy or me selling the brand of Akademiks, and I'm not a part of the brand anymore. Like, yeah, the brand kind of needs the person to be a part of it, right? So anyway, that company realized that they were losing revenue. I think they made their money or tried to make their money in the first couple of years, but essentially they were down to just sell the company back to Diddy. He bought it back for $7.6 million. And yeah, that's pretty much what it's been. Okay, cool. Let me see. Now, here's the thing. As I go back into this. Here we go. Okay. Now, what Macy's is not saying, and I think they don't want no parts of the controversy, they're not saying, yo, we're removing it because we think Diddy is a creep. They said, oh, we had already planned to remove it because the styles are old and we're trying to go a different direction. So they're not saying that it's because anything to do with this Cassie and Diddy lawsuit or any allegations, but the timing is really eerie that they're taking it out of Macy's, right? The timing comes a couple days after he sells the lawsuit. All these allegations are coming out, but they still say, and let me see, this is what they said. As part of our ongoing review of our brand portfolio, the Sean John collection has started to phase out of assortment since early fall 2023. So they're saying it's already started and it will continue to go. And basically they're saying that they've been evaluating the brand for a while and it hasn't been selling like it used to in the late 90s and the early 2000s, and they're just going to phase it out. So they're not saying it's because of any of the weird stuff that we heard with Diddy, but come on now, if there's smoke, there's fire. So Diddy seems to be, in buckle down mode. He's trying to probably, if you're asking me, hope that people look at this time period and say, oh, it's a bunch of powerful men who a bunch of women were just doing witch hunt lawsuits trying to get, except it's just hard to think that when Cassie's the person who filed the lawsuit. So I don't think that's going to work. Second of all, trying to drown his stuff among lawsuits for other people, I think people see through this BS because definitely him selling made him look worse. And this is why we're gonna see as time goes on, how far the dominoes are gonna fall with Diddy. Now, keep in mind, Diddy owns Revolt. Revolt has some advertisers. Will it get to the point where a advertiser says, we don't want to spend money with Revolt that's owned by Diddy because of these allegations? We haven't gotten there yet, but I think that's the fear for Diddy, and that's probably one of the reasons he settled this case pretty expeditiously. All right, cool. Somebody said he better have a hell of a PRT. I think he does. Somebody said if you're wearing Sean John in 2023, you're cooked. I'm wondering, like, were they putting out new designs or so? Oh shit. Okay. Somebody says Diddy's owned by Revolt. Yes, it's the only black-owned media television company. Yeah, Revolt is solely owned by Revolt is, yeah, see? American music-oriented digital cable television network founded by Sean Puff Daddy Combs and Andy Swan, but the founder is him. It's owned by Revolt TV, but he still owns it. Diddy still owns it, man. Okay. All right. All right. So I think we kind of got the whole thing with Diddy, the update about some brands dropping him. We don't know if it's going to get to like his television network or they're going to drop him there. People in music have been pretty quiet. Nobody's really saying nothing. Everybody's just trying to see if there's going to be more victims that's going to speak out. We're hearing some anonymous people speak out, but nobody's willing to put their name on the paper. And they might be looking at it like, yo, well, why would I say something now about Diddy? At least when Cassie said it and put her name on the line, she got paid. If they probably say something about Diddy now, they're not going to get paid. So that might affect their choice. Okay. What else haven't I thought I told you I was going to review something today. So you guys tell me what it is. By the way, do any of y'all here help cook for Thanksgiving? Most of the food for my family, I think they cook the night before. Like, because cooking a day off is like crazy. Slay says, why you think Diddy started all that brother love crap? He know what was coming. I agree. The fuck? Nigga, you went from the take that dude. Harlem shaking like a motherfucker. Now you're brother love. You want to spread love. Get out of here, man. Somebody said Chad can't cook. Luxury tax, he just smoked a turkey, man. Like, okay. Tyler Perry said, Smitty G says Tyler Perry owns BT and MTV. No. He tried to buy it. He felt like they were playing with the price with him, and he fell back out of that. Okay?